Want to do a quick video on stud mount applications, typically seen on front shocks or front chassis style struts, okay? On your chassis style struts that go into a caster camber plate or an adjustable strut cup, this tends to not be an issue, but on any stud mount that goes into a flat plate, whether it be a stock style car or an old school chassis car that still has a flat plate, this is where I see these issues continuously. And so I want to make this video real quick just to show you don't need to over tighten these and the problems that can arise if you over tighten them. This customer here sent his shocks in, and first thing I noticed, the bushings were torn, flat as a pancake, and the washers were severely bent. This tells me he really tightened them. We don't need to go that tight, guys. We want to tighten it enough where the mount won't come loose, but that it still allows for articulation with the bushings here. Just think of your rear and front shocks and your struts that go into a caster camber plate with a bearing or an adjustable strut cup with a bearing. These bearings allow for articulation, allows for things to move. You want the same thing with your stud mounts, okay? So, just want to go over a proper install here. So, I don't have a race car, but I got this vise here and this stud here, and I'm just going to show you how to tighten it. We get the first washer, first bushing in place of a flat mounting plate. I'm going to go ahead and just stack a couple washers to simulate a flat mounting plate. Now we'll install the top bushing and the top washer. This is where people go crazy here. They'll get an impact or they'll get a long wrench or something and just go to town with it until the nut won't turn anymore. You don't want to do that, guys. You just want to get it tight enough to where it isn't going anywhere. Of course, I grabbed the stud that has some messed up threads. This is a used stud here, but real quick. Right here is where the nut's just barely touching the washer. As you can see, the bushings are flat with the washers there. I'm gonna go ahead and tighten it. I'm gonna keep my hand fairly close to the box end of the wrench here because I don't wanna get too much leverage on it. But I'm gonna tighten it until it's fairly snug and it starts compressing these rubber bushings here. We just wanna compress the rubber bushings where it is kind of flaring out around the washer, okay? Right here, it is flaring fairly decent. As you can see, it's got a little bit of compression on it, but it's not so crazy that it's acting like a solid mount. Now, with these bushings, it can still articulate as needed, okay? Then you would get your jam nut. If you do not have a nylock nut, you can use the jam nut. A lot of these shocks come with jam nuts. Install your jam nut and tighten your jam nut against the first nut. Other than that, don't over tighten them. Allow everything